Nana, bro.
All right. A very, 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 very good evening to you wherever you are. And my name is Acquah, and this is the WaterShed. I'm excited to come to you today because today we're going to have a blend of culture, tradition, Christianity, and leadership. It is a whole package. We are loaded, and I'm excited with what God is about to do. Once again, this is the WaterShed, and my name is Acquah. The WaterShed is an encounter with global icons, men and women who have made their mark. We engage them, we get to know their thought, their heart, and they share their experiences with us. And this evening is going to be at another level. And so please go ahead and connect with me on any of my social media handles at Acquah EK, Acquah EK. And please do subscribe to my YouTube channel at Acquah, Acquah, the YouTube channel, and do share the link so that your friends can connect with us, because today is going to be really, 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 really good. We have one of our revered leaders in Ghana. And for those of you who are connecting from different parts of the world, we have with us one of the traditional rulers and leaders of our nation. So today we'll go a bit cultural. We'll be mixing the Ghanaian culture with the foreign culture. So we'll be having a mixture of English and Twi and various languages, just to let you have a feel of what we'll be doing. But basically, for the sake of those of you who are not Ghanaians, we will do a lot of the communication in English, but we won't have a taste of culture. There are certain proverbs that you only get it solid when you use the local language. And so there'll be that lovely combination. And so if you have just joined us, please do well to share. This evening, we are engaging the heart of one of the great leaders. And he is somebody who is a traditional leader. He is the embodiment of the soul and the culture of the people. He has been at the national level, and he is a national figure. Before I come down, at the national level, he is part of the National House of Chiefs. Currently, formally, just immediate past, he was the president of the Brong-Ahafo, the whole Brong-Ahafo Regional House of Chiefs. And then for those of you who are not in Ghana, the government splitted the various regions and created a new region called Bono East. And because of his leadership grace, he was still chosen as the president of the Bono East Regional House of Chiefs. This traditional leader is married with 7 lovely children. And the great aspect is that he is a Christian, a child of the Most High God. So Friends, ladies and gentlemen across the globe, permit me to introduce to you our dear Omane. He is a traditional, the Omane of the Yeji traditional area. Yeji is the name of a town. So if you don't know, that's okay. Yeji is the name of a town like Cape Town or like Cairo. So he's the paramount chief of the Yeji traditional area, and also, as I said, president of the Bono East Regional House of Chiefs. And permit me, friends, to introduce to you Elder Nana Pimampim Yao Kagbrese the Fifth. Nana, did I get it right?
That is right. That is right.
Great, 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 great. All right. So, friends, we are going to engage with this our revered leader in our society. And as I said, please connect with us on our social media platforms at Acquah EK, and then just subscribe to my YouTube, the TV channel at EK Acquah. And then you can also connect with us on PIWC Accra, PIWC Accra, or PIWCaccra.org right now, and you will be able to connect with us. Now, if you have any questions for our revered chief or any input, go ahead and let us have it right away. We'll put it to him. So, Nana, good to have you, and God richly bless you for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
I was reading your profile, and I was amazed that you, as one of your hobbies, you said you love reading, and you love fisheries, farming, you are a sports personality, and then conservation of fishery resources. And that really, really struck me. Especially there's two about reading and conservation of fishery resources. I know that lots of us young people today don't like reading. And if you have people like you who are passionate about reading, that is very interesting. And we thank God for your life in that area. So let's find out, which sports do you enjoy best?
I prefer reading.
Okay. By being a sports person, which of the sports do you like?
Football.
Football.
Yes.
So how did you feel when Asamoah Gyan missed that penalty?
Oh, I felt so excited.
Okay. That we've missed? Nana, I said, my question was, how did you feel? I think the reception is okay. It's getting better now.
Yes.
My question is, how did you feel when Asamoah Gyan missed that penalty? Or you didn't watch that match?
Oh, it was so sad. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. And that I was very, very uncomfortable to see Asamoah Gyan missing the goal.
A very important goal.
I was so sad.
Yeah, we thank God for that. And what is this thing about conservation of fisheries? What is it really about?
The conservation of fisheries. You know, in my traditional area, we have this water lake.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. In my traditional area, we have the water lake. We used to fish. Fishing is the dominant activities of my people over there.
Okay.
Now, when you go along the lake, you see that the fish stock is depleted, all because of overfishing, polluting of the water, using another mesh nets. It becomes now a burden on the people of Yeji. No fish. So to get back the fish stock, I have to sit down and then work with my traditional chiefs to see to it that we conserve the lake.
Super.
So that the stock will not be virtually depleted. So we are working on it. We have started this about 8 years ago. We have not achieved our goals.
We are trusting that grace will help you and us all to achieve those goals.
Yes.
Now, let's come back to For those of you who are not in or who are not Ghanaians, within the Ghanaian culture, we have different governance systems. We have the political governance, and then we have the traditional rulers. They are a constitutional body. They are recognized by the constitution of the nation. And our dear elder Nana Pimampim Kagbrese the fifth is one of such traditional leaders who is also a paramount chief. When we say paramount chief, it means that he also he has lots of other chiefs under his domain, and his influence is a bit broader than the normal local chief, and he's one of such traditional leaders, as we've indicated. But Nana, I wanted to find out from you. You are a chief, and you know, somehow Christianity paints the picture as if everything traditional is idol worship, everything traditional is not right, is wrong. And even some of us don't want to be chiefs because we think that when you become a chief, it means that you are not a Christian, you are an idol worshiper. But here you are, a chief, and a very important chief like you, but a Christian. Why are you a Christian? Why are you so passionate about God, that you love God so much? Has God done anything in your life at all?
Yeah, before I became a chief,
okay.
I was a Christian.
Okay.
For about 8 years, when my instrument generated litigation. So during that period, my relationship to church going has stopped. That stopped. I was not then attending church as it was before my instrument.
Okay.
So about 14 years litigation.
14 years?
14 years. The litigation started in 1982 and then ended 1996 at the Supreme Court in Accra. So during this period, I was not having access to go to church as I used to go before the instrument. So my going to church ended, I would say, ended over there. So after the Supreme Court, I decided to continue my worship as a Christian. However, the church that I used to go before my instrument, I decided not to go to the church, rather to go to the Church of Pentecost. Okay. So at the moment, I am an elder in the Church of Pentecost. Okay. So since 1997 up to this time, I am a member or elder of the Church of Pentecost. At the same time, a traditional ruler, as you quite rightly said. Yeah. Why is it that, Nana, you are a chief and you are still worshiping Christian, worshiping God? Yeah. I found out that when my father was alive, my father was not a Christian, and when he was performing his rituals, he always mentioned the Almighty God before all other things follows. So I asked my father, why is it that you are doing all these things and still mentioning Almighty God? Almighty God? And he told me, Yao, at that time I was not a chief. Yao, we all know that there is a supreme being. Yeah. Called God. So with that, without the blessings of God, whatever you do will not be successful. So they feel it that they worship the adults, the worship God through the adults. So the moment you mention God, Urubare, that is Urubare, come and lead me in my worshiping my gods. When you do that, whatever they will do will be successful for them.
Okay.
Yes, in a way, when before I became a Christian, there was an outreach program by one of the churches in my traditional area.
Okay.
So I went and stood by, listening the pastor preaching.
But then, Nana, were you a chief, or you were by then not a chief?
By then I was not a chief.
Okay.
By then I was not a chief. So when I was listening to the pastor's preaching, the word that convinced me, you cannot worship two, you cannot serve two masters.
Wow.
You cannot serve two masters.
Powerful.
If you decide to serve two masters, you not be your service will not be rightful one. So I came back to my father, and then I said, Father, when I went to this program, this was what the pastor said, that you cannot worship two or serve two masters. We are here. Last year, when you were performing your rituals, you mentioned the spring bean. But now the pastor is saying that you cannot worship the spring bean without mentioning Christ's name. But when you did yours, you didn't mention Christ. You mentioned your gods, smaller gods. No, he told me, my son, we as a traditionalists, we worship our gods. We worship God through our gods. So if you are saying this, then I don't have to take your advice. And I said, no, what I heard from the pastor, I want to go by it, but not yours. He said, Nana, Yao, I have given you, I give birth to you. And then what I came and met is what I am doing now. And now you are telling me that I should go by what the pastor said. As for that one, I cannot do, but I cannot prevent you following the pastor. I cannot prevent you following the pastor. So that gave me the privilege. He said, no, their father, what you are doing means that you are serving two masters, but I want to serve my supreme being through Jesus Christ. So there, my father said, yeah, each one and for himself. So if you want to go and serve God, the supreme being, through Jesus, I have mine. I will serve supreme good through my boss. So it was there after that I started going to church. At that time, around 1974. So 74 up to 82, that I stopped going to that church because of litigation.
The litigation.
Yes, because of the litigation. So after the litigation, I decided not to go to my previous church, rather to join the Church of Pentecost. That is, this is what made me to become a Christian.
A Christian. Great. Yeah. And since you joined, has Jesus done anything in your life that you can say that, wow, this is really God?
Oh, marvelously, marvelously, marvelously. Since I became the chief in 1982, I've never felt sick in the first place. I've never.
No weapon fashioned against you is prospering.
Nah, I have never felt sick. And I have never dreamt seeing somebody chasing me like a wizard, like somebody want to destroy my career. Never. So I believe that the supreme being that I worship is really a supreme being. So I have to go by it.
And Nana, that is really powerful. You are saying that since you became, you gave your life to Jesus Christ, you've never had any demonic attacks or something that is successful. So,
At all.
so you would want to say something to those who want to use juju and they think that until I become a chief, because there will be witches and wizards fighting me, I need to get some protection. What would you tell those people? Because you are a living example of a chief who is not using all these things, but you are fully protected. What will you tell them?
I always tell my people, especially my elders, the experience that I have had during my installation up to this time. Some people came, Muslims. They came to me for me to seek to help me to reign.
Okay.
I decided, I told them that with my God, I don't have to deviate my course. All these traditional the traditional ones, they used to come, I'll do this for you, for your prevention. I said, I used to tell them that with God, I will not offer myself to what they are saying. So I've been telling my people that without God, or with God, nothing can attack you. No demonic attack.
How I wish that all other traditional leaders in Ghana will be listening to you, because within our culture, people think that you need some protection. You need to go to some northern part of Ghana or southern or eastern and go and see some malam to be able to protect you. And that's a very good testimony from a practicing chief. This one is not theory. This is real practical demonstration.
It's practical experience.
Yeah. All right, now I want to find out from you, being a chief, what are some of the lessons that you want to share with us from the cultural perspective? What are the lessons that you've learned over the period you want to share with us?
Culture. My lessons are one. One of my apostles told me, Nana, it is easy for non-Christian to become a Christian than a Christian to become a chief. One of my apostles. And I told him that.
He thought that it was very difficult for a Christian to become a chief.
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
It is very difficult for a Christian to become a chief. A chief will not have a difficult to become a Christian. And I asked him, why? And he told me that before you become a chief, you have to pass through this rituals and other things. I said, no, my apostle. Yes, we have come to meet all these rituals in the chieftaincy sector. Let me tell you, my apostle, before you become a chief, the chief is not, the stool is not anything God worshiping. The stool is not God worshiping, God's worshiping. It is not a ritual thing.
Yeah.
It is a stool that shall be cut from a tree.
A tree.
Cut from a tree. Design it for a noble person like a chief to be sitting on. To become a leader of that community. There's nothing spiritual.
It's just wood.
Just a wood from forest or from bush. There's nothing spiritual. It's because of this stool that you'll be made a chief to sit on, to preside always when you meet your elders or your community. Some chiefs, they want to become more powerful, and they will neglect they will neglect God, the supreme being. They will rather choose or opt to go in for this concoction, malam, and then other rituals to prevent them or to build them as they become or as they rule their community.
Okay.
It is not a stool. That is
an idol.
An idol.
Yeah.
Not a stool. But
that's
the one on the stool, the one who is called the chief, he will go and fetch all these things to prevent his
protection.
Protection. Yeah,
right.
For protection. But not the stool.
Okay, that's a very good revelation for those of us who are not really into the chieftaincy stuff. It means that, as you have said, the things are natural things like trees, like metals, and all those things. But it is the people who sit on it that brings the fetishism around it. So you can be a good chief and still bring Christian Holy Ghost on those same metals that were used for idols. That's the point you are making.
That's the point I'm making.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
My apostle, let me tell you, before as we've heard our history, that before the white man came, they used to slaughter human beings to cleansing the stool.
Okay.
I've heard this, I've not seen it. I've heard it that before the white man came, they use human beings' blood to cleansing the stool. When white man came, he said, no, it's not allowed for a human being to be slaughtered to cleansing your stool. Why don't you use a sheep? Then a law was passed, whoever uses human being to cleansing the stool will be sanctioned. So since then, nobody was using human being to cleansing the stool. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask a question, not you.
Yeah, sure.
So if the white man hadn't come, wouldn't we, the blacks or the Africans or Ghanaians, didn't have the knowledge that we should stop using human beings?
Yeah.
Okay, we have stopped using human beings for cleansing stools. Are the stools not existing? They are still existing, and they are flourishing. And they are flourishing. There is progress. There is development. Now, if really they were using a human being and now they are not using it,
and the stool didn't die.
The stool didn't die. The stool didn't die. It is rather progressing by using a sheep. My brother, by using a sheep doesn't. It's not a culture that will bring development.
Yeah.
Yes, using the sheep in place of human beings, that too doesn't mean that it's using a sheep that makes the stool progresses. No. The way that we used to stop human cleansing, we can stop the sheep cleansing the stools. We can stop using. We blacken the stool with the blood according to culture. If we don't, why do we cleansing the stool? We cleansing the stool because there will be some pests that will destroy the stool. That is why they used to blacken it. If we have removed cleansing the stool with a human being, and we're using an animal, a sheep, when we stop, can't we get something liquid black to blacken
I love this.
our
This is contextualization.
You see, we can get a paint, black paint, to blacken our stools to prevent insects to penetrate in our stools. We are preserving it.
Preserving it.
The stool meat will preserve it.
Wow.
It will come a time that there's two preservation of the stool or keeping it in a dark room. It will come a time that when the woods, the streets are not depleted. Where do you get the stool? We'll have a paper, and then we'll be writing, this chief came, this chief came, after this came, and then we'll paste it down. We'll put it in our file so that it will be there for generation to come to know the chiefs who came, blah, 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 blah. And then we'll just stop using the sheep and everything.
Wow.
Another
so yes, okay, go on, yeah.
Another one, history tells us that if a male, you have been circumcised, you cannot become a chief.
If you have what?
If you have been circumcised, circumcision.
Okay.
You will not become a chief.
Wow.
Before you become a chief, they will get somewhere to inspect you whether you have been circumcised or not.
And was there any reason for that?
Come again?
Was there any reason for that?
Yeah, they said if you are circumcised, meaning that you are not entitled, you are not credible to become a chief, because they have used a cutlass or a knife to touch your body.
Okay.
But here is the case. About 50 years ago, more than 50 years ago, when they give birth to a child, in a week's time, the child is circumcised.
Yeah.
And if you are born in a royal family, you have been circumcised, and you grow, and then the stool becomes vacant. Who is going to occupy the stool? Who is going to occupy the stool? It is your child that you have circumcised is going to occupy. 50 years back, 60 years back, in those days when we attended school, when you are not circumcised, you feel shy to go to washroom with your colleagues. Based upon this, everybody will see to it that he's been circumcised before he attends secondary school, or he gets himself public naked. Today it's not like that. Today it's not like that.
Great.
Today it's not like that.
So today, even if you are circumcised, you can still become the chief.
Yeah, you still become a chief, and nobody is left without circumcised these days. Nobody is left. So where lies? So where lies this taboos? Where lies these taboos?
All right. So it means that, and I'm loving this. We can look at the relevance. The point you are making is that we can look at the essence of the tradition and use modern interpretation to achieve the same goal. For instance, they were using human beings to preserve, to kill, and use the blood to preserve the stool. Then it came to sheep, and now we can use chemicals, and that is contextualization in leadership. So those of us who are Christians and are scared to go into chieftaincy, I believe that as they listen to you now, we would encourage more and more Christians to go, so that other taboos, which have meanings, but then we can use modern trends to contextualize and make meaning of those taboos. If we will go into chieftaincy, it will be very helpful. We thank God for progressive leaders like your type that are bringing changes to the chieftaincy institution. The things that we were scared, the black room, that they were killing human beings, and that when they're installing chiefs, people are killed and all those things, at least you are unpacking them for us today, for us to know. All right, we'll go on a short break, Nana, and then after that, I will open the floor for my audience to engage you, to want to find out. I've seen that some people have already posted some questions. So we will go for a short break, and we will be back. Stay tuned.
Thank you. Short break.
All right. Okay, so good to have you back. Those of you who have just connected, I'm engaging one of the paramount chiefs in Ghana. He is the paramount chief of the Yeji traditional area and the president of the Bono East Regional House of Chiefs. And he's really opening us up to some of the practices of the traditional system that he has been able to modernize and contextualize. He's explaining some of the principles that followed it. Now we'll be looking at other leadership lessons that he's learned. He's been able to use modern trends to change the traditional arrangement. If any of our guests, those of you on the Zoom, you want to ask Nana any question, just unmute yourself, and Nana will be willing to ask you to respond to your question. I have also seen that I think I saw a question on the page, but in his response, he's explained some of that. It says, "Hello, Nana. I can see that you have a very good, close relationship with your father. How many children did he have, and how special were you among the case?" Well, that one you can. And then he says, Nana, when you ascended the throne, were there any specific traditional practices you felt should be stopped? How did you deal with those? And how has your relationship with your people been affected as a result? I think that with this question, some of them you've already responded, but if there are others that you want to add up, we'll be willing to hear from you. He says that, what were some of the things that you met which needed to be changed, which you have been able to change? And then when you changed them, did you face challenges, and how were you able to solve it? I think that will help those of us who are also into this kind of things, that if we also face those challenges, we'll know how to deal with it. Is there anything you want to share?
Yeah, I have one to share. When I became the chief of Yeji, we used to celebrate Afrinji. They call it Afrinji.
Afrinji, all right.
Afrinji. We used to celebrate that is annually. When I became a chief, and then I got to know the history surrounding it, no, there is no anything important or significant about the celebrating of the Afrinji. The Afrinji was imported from a different traditional area. It was not our culture. my traditional area used to practice that with a lot of challenges. So I said, no, why should this continue happening? I invited my elders. We sat down, delved into it, into the matter, and then they quite understood what I was mentioning or I was about. So it came to a point to invite about 5 fetishhood, their priests in my traditional area. So when we invited the priests, that they should tell us the significance of the Afrinji, they all agreed that the Afrinji was importation from a different traditional area. So why should we allow this foreign culture to come and override us? So thereafter, we told everybody, the divisional chiefs, the fetish priests, that henceforth, nobody will make an attempt to celebrate this Afrinji. And that ended the annual celebration of Afrinji. And when I was trying to move this out, I had a hectic challenge from all the people who were interested to celebrate it.
Okay.
So some of my relatives came to me, Nana, be careful. We are coming to remove all this culture away from our tradition. You will not live for long. They will kill you. For about 30 years ago, I am still alive. Interesting. Wow. And then now they are clapping for me. They are applauding me for removing this foreign culture from our system.
Wow. We thank God. We thank God for that. Yeah, any other person who wants to ask Nana a question or make an input, you are more than welcome to engage him.
Yeah, Apostle.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, this is Edana.
Oh, Edana, okay.
Yes, sir. Please, I want to maybe suggest something to Nana. I want to ask
suggest
him,
something to Nana?
Yeah, if he can work on it.
Edana, you don't want us to see your face.
Sorry.
This is Zoom. All right, that's fine. That's okay. Go ahead.
Thank you. I happen to be part of the committee that work on the Chief and Queen Mothers Conference, headed by your predecessor, Pastor Acquah, part of the committee. Okay. And in fact, what has transpired this evening, I think it might be first of all was telecast on the PEN TV. It should be a content of PEN TV content, where the whole church and the pastors and apostles will listen to him and help. Now, to Nana,
I didn't get your initial point. You said, what about pastors and apostles? I didn't get that.
I said that if it is being showed on the PEN TV,
it
will help the program we are having now.
Okay.
I think it should be a PEN TV content, but it will go all over the world. Now, I want to ask Nana that this PEN TV, this Pentecost Queen Mothers and Kings and Chief and Queen Mothers Conference twice or once in the year, can he form a chief fellowship, Christian fellowship within the chieftaincy setup, so that gradually we can win more of the chiefs into Christianity. But what he's an example. He's an example, an agent that will be the transformation we are looking towards in our country. So I want to appeal to Nana, if he can start something that they will form a Christian fellowship within the chieftaincy institution, that it will bring a change, that our country will move forward. That's my candidate appeal.
Great, great. So that's a suggestion to you, Nana. Nana, well, maybe Lemfa, do you have anything like Chiefs Christian Fellowship, not Church of Pentecost, but I mean, non-denominational Christian Fellowship? Is there anything like that for the chieftaincy institution?
At the moment, we don't have a Chiefs Fellowship. We don't have. Last when we met at the Pentecost International Conference Center.
All right.
But we chiefs met, and then Royal Chief, we met, and we got to know each other. We got and we understood that now the Church of Pentecost is going to organize chiefs to be united, and then fight the cause of chief to be committed in Christianity. Yeah, we can have a Christian conference. We can have it done. It is not difficult, but we see that sometimes if we don't have funds, if we have funds to organize, it is something easy for us to do it.
But Nana, the whole gold and the silver of the nations are in the custody.
not all the not in all traditional areas. A few.
I pray that your traditional area becomes one of the.
That is my prayer. That is my prayer. That is my prayer.
Amen. And I thank your spirit.
If we should have, I'm also suggesting that the Church of Pentecost should have a ministry for chiefs, so that they will annually be having some funds for the ministry, so that it will help us to also organize ourselves.
That's a very powerful.
Yeah, we should have a ministry for chiefs, so that every annually will raise funds to support their cause.
Well, thankfully, leadership is listening, so I'm sure this will be a good consideration. I think it's you see, chieftaincy holds our culture, it holds our tradition, and so if we're able to affect the chieftaincy institution, it means that our culture will so much be influenced. And I'm excited about the way you have brought changes in your traditional areas. Chief Nana, somebody is asking from Kenya. And let me read what he said. He said, in Kenya, our chiefs are a mere shadow of the situation in Ghana. What role does a chief play in national governance or politics in Ghana? Nana, is the question clear?
It is clear.
All right. So you want
very,
to know
very clear.
Okay, Sam.
You know, before the colonial era, it was chiefs who were ruling their communities. It was chiefs who were ruling. Every paramountcy rule his traditional area. Before the white man came. So when the white man came, he was ruling through the chiefs. He was ruling through the chiefs. Now the present governance. That is why we are struggling to get 30% of our assembly members, 30%, to be fully represented in national governments or local governments. But this is what we are fighting, and the government is not trying to listen to Nanano. 30% of traditional council, these assembly members
should be chiefs.
Should be chiefs.
Okay.
Should be chiefs.
So for now, what is the percentage? For now, what is the percentage?
Even some areas they don't give us. Even
Okay,
1%, they don't give. 1%. In my area like this, they didn't give even 1% to us. So I was struggling with the DCE, and it became something like we are at antagonists.
Wow.
So really, Nanano are not well represented in national governance. And we have been fighting to get it. We are not, they are not trying to listen to Nanano.
So, but within your, whilst you keep fighting, what do you think, what roles do you think chiefs can play, or what role are they playing now in terms of governance? Because I know possibly behind the scenes you are doing something, or is there any role the chieftaincy institution is playing when it comes to leadership in national governance?
That is why National House, when we get our leaders, the president of the National House of Chiefs is automatic member of Council of State, Council of State, automatic member.
Okay.
And we are focusing that government should try and then put Nanano to various government boards.
Okay.
So that will also be heard in the governance, national governance.
I'm just wondering, why should this be so difficult to get chiefs into this your request? Why is it so difficult? I wish that the politicians are here for them to explain why it's difficult to get people who were ruling the nations before democracy came. Now, to give them 2% or 1% to get their wisdom becomes a difficulty. Maybe they will explain better to us. But now someone is also asking, beyond the conferences, after the conference, what happens next? Is there anything you think can be done? Then let me ask a second question, and then you can answer both of them. Someone is also asking, why is it that chiefs must marry many wives? And if you want to respond. And how did you deal with that challenge of a chief must marry many wives? How were you able to deal with that challenge?
It is not compulsory.
Oh, okay.
It is not compulsory. It is somebody's wish to marry one or two.
Oh, okay.
Fortunately for me, when I started my life, I got only one wife before I became a chief. Suddenly, she passed away. When I was having she passed away when we were having our children.
Oh.
After her, the one that I got is still with me around about 15 years ago. So I have only been with wife.
So there is no, those who are saying that it's compulsory that chiefs must marry one wife, they are just only trying to satisfy themselves. It's not
exactly so.
They call themselves two wife.
Even when I became the chief, they gave me Akonyayere. They gave me family, my family. They gave it to me. I said no, I can't afford. With my position as a Christian, I cannot afford. And I have got my freedom.
Freedom. And your budget has been reduced.
Reduced drastically. And I only focus on development.
Great. And let's look at that development aspect. There's a name of a place in Ghana, I've forgotten the name, where the chief and his people have been able to make that village or community so clean.
So clean.
We know that traditional leaders have such an influence. So, and then what do you suggest can be done so that even if you don't have political influence, can be used to change petty cultural characters like neatness, keeping our societies and environment clean. How can the chieftaincy institution lead that drive?
Yeah. A chief who has that spirit can organize his community
like business. Is the chieftaincy institution barred from that? Can you mobilize your people and let's say have an investment in a bank or in an organization as a chief with your community? Do you have that system? Is it possible?
By the grace of God, I have that kind of spirit, the spirit of development.
Okay.
I initiated a lot of projects for my community, but most of them did not materialize. Why? It is because of the litigation that I earlier on mentioned.
This litigation challenges.
Yes, it was the litigation was two rubber chiefs from 1982 to 1996 before Supreme Court decided who should become Yeji Paramount chief. So an area where there is litigation, chieftaincy litigation, you cannot have it so easy to mobilize your people. But gradually, we are making efforts, doing something for the community.
Well, I really we had more time. Unfortunately, our time is gone. I was going to ask, why don't we have this litigation? Can't we have a system where the chieftaincy line or lineage is digitized? Everybody knows who is supposed to be or could if something. Why do we have this chieftaincy litigation? Can't anything be done about that? Unfortunately, our time is really going, and you can't take Nana's time too much too.
Let me come in.
Okay, someone asking a question.
We have the system.
Okay, you let Nana finish. I'll allow you.
We have it.
Okay, sir.
We have it. Every before you become a chief, you must come from the royal lineage. The royal lineage. Sometimes the royal lineage, you get a senior brother, the junior brother, litigating, all because of what should I say? Is it greediness or whatever?
But can't we have a system that says that? Well, maybe that would be difficult anyway. Say that, okay, if you are this, you must be the firstborn, or don't you have a clear system? But sometimes I can understand the challenge is that the firstborn may not even be a great guy, and then because he's firstborn, he must necessarily take place. Maybe those are the challenges that comes into this.
Yeah. Maybe it do okay. Every community, every royal family, when two are royals, and they are all credible, legitimate ones. Okay. You first consider the senior, the elderly person.
Okay.
But maybe the other person do not have a credible character.
Okay.
So people may want the junior one.
Okay.
And then people will say, no, we want the senior to become the chief. They want to say, no, the junior is more qualified. Then litigation comes. As more so, now politics used to penetrate in the system.
Politicians come in the system.
Yes.
Wow. It's been a great time having you, Nana. Unfortunately, our time is up, and I can see that Nana is still fighting to ask a question. Our time is up. So I'll give you maybe 30 seconds to ask another question. And after that, Nana, I want you to just look into the camera and tell somebody somewhere, maybe a president, a minister, a chief, a schoolboy, a schoolgirl, or a street kid, or a drug addict. Tell the person why you think the person needs to give his or her life to Jesus Christ. Just a statement, and they will bring the meeting to a close. Nana, please, just 30 seconds. Our time is already up. Yeah, Dana, unmute yourself, please. You are.
Come again.
I want to ask. Of late, we have seen certain when it comes to politics side, we see the chiefs, making a declaration for another party, and this thing is reoccurring in our country today. Let's assume today that there's an election dispute, and within your jurisdiction, there's a dispute in your jurisdiction. As a Nana who has competed for somebody, have declared your support for somebody, if there's a dispute, how can you handle the dispute to bring the issue down? Nana?
So your point is about chiefs who openly declare their support for one political party, right?
Yes. It is very dangerous, and it will destroy our nation if we don't take it. So
okay.
Let me respond. Let me respond.
Okay, Nana, please.
Yeah, that is why the Constitution says Nana should not involve themselves in national politics. Yeah.
Yeah.
I support that. I support that. Nana, you cannot involve yourself in national politics. Why? Because all your subjects, everybody there, they are also your subjects. And then maybe A will say, I need party A. B will say, I need party B. When you involve yourself, in fact, you will not get yourself respected. You will not be respected. So Nana who are involving themselves in politics, I see that it is not the best.
Not the best.
All
right. So what next after conference, royal conference? Do you have any other thing in mind? I think in response to that, you brought the issue about you think that we should have a ministry to chieftaincy and those things, and I think that those are very useful comments. All right, Nana, please. Do you have, first of all, any advice you want to give to us as our father? Any advice you are more than willing to listen to it, and then after that, I want you to look into the mirror, the camera, and tell somebody why you think that person needs to give his or her life to Jesus Christ, and then we'll draw the curtains down. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation, and it's been an amazing time. It's been a great time.
Yeah, my advice to all viewers that it is not against. I see that it is not against the religion, Christian religion, that a Christian should not become chief. I don't see it that way. Why is it that a congregation used to move out, going for outreach programs? A congregation go for programs outside the church, seeking for souls. If you don't go there and always we are in the church, do you think you get more souls?
Yeah.
Go there, and then you be nearer to the person, so that you win the soul back. You win the soul to your church. Similarly, when Christians say we will not become a chief, they don't want to become chiefs. So how can you get Nananum and then preach to them, for them to understand you, to follow you? If you don't go there and preach to them, they remain like that. But when you get to them, that they will understand you and they will follow you. We those chiefs and we those Christians, now chiefs, we are the pioneers. We are there to preach the word of God to those who haven't gotten it yet. So if we are preaching and they have accepted God, then whatever policies whatever policies we are making to reform the institution in Christianity, it will not be any problem.
Sure.
But when you say you fear, and when you come, you pass, and the process is not well for an elder to become, or a Christian to become a chief, then we will remain so forever. But we don't want that. We want to change their minds. We want to change, to win their souls, so that when we are coming to the chieftaincy institution, we will have the voice of the Christians to do away all these norms, and then it will become a Christians too. So my advice is that let the Christians come and then accept the stools as Christians. Yes.
Great.
Yes.
All right, viewers and those of you who have connected on our various social media platforms, we have been getting into the heart, the thought, the mind of our dear elder Nana Pimampim Yao Kagbrese the fifth, the paramount chief of the Yeji traditional area and also the president of the Bono East Regional House of Chiefs. We have engaged his thoughts and we've experienced how he's been able to bring lots of transformation in the chieftaincy institution. And he concludes by saying that we as Christians, young and old, should endeavor, if as long as you belong to the royal lineage, get into the chieftaincy institution, let the light of Christ shine and every darkness will disappear. He's made it very clear to us that the stool is only a wood and all the other things are just earthly objects. But you decide whether you want God to be on it or you want other evil forces. And he has shared his testimony that even he has chosen not to be involved in any rituals or idol issues. Stay true to God. And since he gave his life to Jesus Christ, he has been a chief and a paramount chief, and there's been no successful attack against him, no weapon fashioned against him prospered. And so we thank Nana so much. If you have not given your life to Jesus Christ, we want to give you an opportunity to give your life to Jesus Christ, and you will never regret. Even as you give your life to Jesus, the King of Kings, the Chief of all chiefs, will be your Lord and will guide you. So if you have not given your life to Jesus, I want to give you an opportunity right now to do so. Please repeat this after me. If you want Jesus into your life, he will save you and forgive you your sins, cleanse you from all unrighteousness. Just as the stool is cleansed, this one, it is the blood of Jesus that will cleanse your heart and will cleanse your life. Please repeat this after me if you want to give your life to Jesus. Say, dear Lord, I know you love me. You died for my sins. And so today, I accept you, Lord, as my Lord and personal Savior. Wow, if you have made this simple confession, you have become a child of God, and God will definitely bless you. You can connect with us on Acquah EK, all social media platforms, or PIWC Accra, again on all media platforms, or piwcaccra.org. Or you can also send me a message on ekacquah.org. Or you can connect our live stream engagement on YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can always get the information. I will come your way again next week with another seasoned traditional leader who is also at that top level. I will introduce him next week when we come, so that we can also get more from him when it comes to the issue about the Ghanaian culture and African culture and the lessons we can learn from it. God richly bless you for coming. Nana, we are very, very grateful for your time. I know you are a very busy person, but you've still had time for us, and you've really been a blessing to us. God richly bless you. I cannot end by asking that the hand of God be so strong upon you, that the favor of God will come upon you, that the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords will rule and reign in your life. May every yoke be broken. May every hold of Satan and may anything that tries to suppress you be crushed, and let that liberty come upon your life. And if by the grace of God there's any opportunity for you, may the Lord open that door right now. May God answer your prayer. May the Lord heal you and set you free. May God bless you and open doors you never imagined. Until I come your way again next week, same time, 6 p.m. GMT. This is the WaterShed, and my name is Acquah. God richly bless you, and see you again next week, same time. Bye.
With Acquah.
God expects us to go beyond the battle with human beings and be able to even contend with horses and overpower them in competition. God expects us to win. No matter what, there's a spirit of survival in us. That strength, that energy that says that, yes, this thing is coming at me, but I will overcome it. The criminal and the one who thinks is a saint. Grace pushes all of us to the same level and brings mercy upon our lives.
This and every Sunday at 6 p.m. GMT on all social media handles at Acquah EK and on ekacquah.com. God richly bless you.